Nashville's such a small town, it's ridiculous.
I know, the food industry and everything mixes very well. It's just like, I guess, LA everyone's trying to become an actor.
Right, totally.
I feel like there's way more possibility of your future being foretold here than there, but
it's true. It's true indeed.
Oh yeah. Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Nashville Artist Podcast. I'm Jordan, and today Aaron, Billiot, and Huxley Rittman of the band the Dirty Delusions are here.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome. So I'm going to ask y'all get one at a time. We'll start with you, Aaron.
Hey man.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Carbondale, Illinois originally. Southern Illinois. It's about 3 hours or so north from here. And I grew up there. I lived there about 20 years, and it's kind of a little college town. Probably like 200,000 people or so, and it's got a really cool music scene.
Oh,
for sure, yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I am an only child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All your family's attention was on you.
Exactly. All their focus was just on me. It's a lot of pressure.
You're like, Aaron, I know it's supposed to rain there soon. Be careful on the road.
That's very true.
So, when you were younger, what were you into as a kid?
I was really into movies, and as far as like music and stuff like that, I was really into soundtracks. Like, it was really weird. I was really into like John Williams and
John Williams.
I was really into John Williams, man.
Dude, I was really into John Williams.
No, that's
I had
awesome.
the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack.
Yes.
CD.
I had it on cassette tape. I had it on cassette tape, and I had like a little Walkman cassette player. My mom was like really into yard sales, so she'd always pick stuff like that up for me, like old Walkmans, and just like she would go through their boxes of CDs and tapes and just bring me stuff home. And yeah, movie soundtracks, John Williams, John Barry.
What does he do?
John Barry did stuff like 7 Years in Tibet, I think. Now, I probably have this way wrong. I can't really remember. It's either that or he did the James Bond soundtrack, but I can't remember.
I love the James Bond.
Yeah, I can't remember which one he did.
Espionage.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So for everyone that doesn't know who John Williams is, he did the Star Wars soundtrack, Indiana Jones.
E.T.
E.T.
Did he do Jurassic Park?
He did Jurassic Park as well.
Park.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got to look up this
John Williams is extremely epic.
That's prolific, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
some of his tracks, like, I had a friend who, like, called a couple of his tracks, like, pretty stressful. So he made a playlist called Get Stressed by John Williams.
that's pretty cool.
Like, some of the pod racing tracks, some of the, like, fight sequences, some of the music, the scores were, like, really anxious.
Right, I mean, like the rising tension moments.
Yeah.
The stressful tracks.
A lot of tension.
Yeah.
The first prequel film,
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Yeah, dude, that was great.
Dude, that soundtrack, that's amazing. Like, it's, yeah! Oh my god. Yeah, it's really prolific. Oh, and I looked it up. John Barry was James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and I really got into like swing music too, like Duke Ellington and Count Basie and stuff like that. Like, I had a bunch of those tapes too. So I was kind of a weird kid. I listened to a lot of weird stuff. My parents didn't really listen to that stuff. I didn't really get into rock and roll and like popular music until high school, honestly.
Oh, really?
Maybe middle school.
So when you were a kid, like, did you play with toys or anything?
Oh yeah. Legos were my big thing. I played with Legos.
Too.
Yeah. I think all great people from our generation had to have played with Legos.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've still got a ton of Legos. My son's gonna inherit all those Legos as soon as he's old enough. Yeah.
Did you build any of the shit, like Star Wars?
Oh yeah, all the shit.
Like the Y-Wing?
The one that I always wanted was the Star Destroyer.
Ooh.
But my parents would never go for that one because it was like $200.
Yeah,
it was really
it's like a big...
Yeah. It was like 4,000 pieces. Like, it was very intense.
Oh my god. Yeah, I knew people that had like the Death Star.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, those were the rich kids at the end of the block for me.
Right.
Like, the rich friend.
Yeah, definitely.
He'd like take you to his like game room, and he'd have like a full like Star Wars spread.
He's got a little cave.
Yeah.
Man, so when did you get into music? Like,
I got into music probably in high school. So I started band in 5th grade because they had this program. They were like grooming kids for middle school band, like the marching band and stuff like that. so they had these things called the flutophone, which did you guys have the flutophone like growing up? Like
I remember the recorder. Is that what?
Yeah. So it was basically a recorder, only it was plastic and really cheap. Yeah. And if you dropped it off your desk, it would just shatter into a million pieces.
Oh, really?
And then you'd have to buy another one for like $5. Like it was just really cheap. It was like translucent white and had like a red reed on it.
Wow.
And it could play like 5 notes. So they gave us all these like chord sheets that just had like these 5 notes in like different orders. So like it would be like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and like, you know, all the hot cross buns and like we would for 15 minutes a day in 5th grade, Mr. May, the band instructor from middle school, would like come down and like teach us these 5 notes and like kind of conduct us and stuff like this. And May, he was kind of a drunk. I don't think he's going to be listening to this, but he was kind of a drunk. So like you could tell like when he was kind of hungover and he would show up and just be like awful to all these 5th graders. Like you'd play a wrong note, he'd be like, "God damn it!" Like have to leave the room. Like he would like leave the room in like a rage, and we're all sitting there like this, like kind of looking back and forth. So it made us really afraid of band. Honestly, like it didn't do what they wanted it to do at all. Like it was supposed to make yeah. It was supposed to, like I remember the very first day. They like built us up and they're like, oh, 1 week away you get your flutophones, 2 days away you get your flutophones. So we're a bunch of kids, we're all like super excited. So they come in like this little cardboard box and it's got it on there and everything. And of course they pass them out and like everybody immediately rips into them and just starts playing them, right. And I remember he got like really angry about that. He's like, "Stop playing them!" Like,
how are we supposed to learn?
Right. Like, that's one of my earliest musical moments.
Sir, I'm
actually.
trying to learn.
Yeah. Excuse me.
I'm curious.
But no, I mean, to answer the question, it was probably high school that I like really got into like, I want to play and I want to do this. And, I didn't really have much interest in it in middle school. Like I started learning guitar in middle school and just went to like a local music shop to learn how to play guitar. And I remember my dad dropped me off and I had like my grandpa's old like Epiphone Wilshire guitar, like just a really old guitar, and it didn't play very well. It was a cool guitar, but it didn't play very well. And like my dad dropped me off, and he's like, "I want him to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan." And the guy was just like, "Oh, okay."
He's like, "That's a little out of my league."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, all right, thanks, Dad. Come back in an hour.
Scott. This guy was a cool dude. He lived at the music store for a while. I remember there would be several times I'd show up a little early for practice and or for my lesson, and like he'd still be asleep. Yeah,
for a guitar lesson.
For a guitar lesson, he'd still be asleep. Like he had like a little cot and like his little space like behind the counter, like in the back room. Yeah. You'd knock on the door and you'd hear like a bottle fall over or something.
Shit.
I
forgot about this lesson.
He'd come out like all haggard with his hair all messed up with like a guitar. He'd be like, "All right, let's go."
So did you bring me beer? Oh shit, you're a kid. I forgot.
Yeah.
So when you were younger learning guitar, what were your influences or who were you like, man, that person's badass, I want to be like them?
First, I think it would probably be Green Day. That was the first rock record I bought on my own.
What's his name? Billy Johnson?
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joe
Yeah,
Armstrong.
yeah. Yeah, it was like the first thing I bought with my own money, like musical thing that I bought with my own money. I went and got like this. It was the Green Day like super hits, I think it was called.
International super hits.
Yeah. It was the first thing I bought, and like I was doing it to impress this girl that I really liked. Like my 7th grade self was like really into this girl, and like she had like all these like punk rock pins, and I remember she always wore a Bikini Kill shirt, and I was like, holy shit! And I didn't even know what that was at the time, like what kind of band that was, and I'm just like, oh shit. She seems really cool. So like I was trying to impress her, so I went and bought this Green Day record, and I was like, I'm gonna learn all these songs on guitar, and like, we're gonna hold hands, like whatever 7th graders think,
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how powerful it is, because you're always like, man, she likes this, I want to learn this.
Yeah, it feels so cliche to say that, but it's so true. Like I started like wanting to play guitar because I wanted to get this girl, like, right?
That's the way it starts.
I guess.
Good.
Yeah.
It's got to move you in some way,
Totally. And then, as I got more into it and like actually got into playing guitar, because like I lost interest. Like this girl, like started dating somebody else at another school, so I kind of lost interest in, you know, my whole tactic to like get this girl and impress her. Like, so I put the guitar down until high school, and then I was in like the high school band, and everybody played guitar, and like everybody was starting bands, and like that's when you experience like guys that are like, you know, 16 and 17 years old, and they've started bands, and you just think that, oh my God, these guys are rock stars, like in this tiny little town. And yeah, that's when I started actually getting into it, and I started getting into Zeppelin. I think Zeppelin was like my first real aha moment where I was like, holy fuck, like that moved me in ways that, I mean, you know, it just...
Do you remember which song?
I remember I went to Walmart again and bought...
Latter Days, or the early days, Latter Days?
No, it was the DVD for The Song Remains the Same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they had like all that like weird medieval imagery and like wizard stuff.
And then gang, like they had the machine, like Tommy guns.
Yeah, oh yeah, the beginning of the movie starts with like this
like
gang.
Wolves and, like,
yeah. Have you ever seen that movie, Hux?
It's like
oh my
wolf
God.
people and Tommy guns.
Yeah.
And shit.
The whole thing starts as like it shows these people like playing cards and you know, having like a poker game. And then this gang shows up with Tommy guns and like blows everybody away, and they're like all wolves and like werewolves and like weird creatures. Like it's the beginning of a Led Zeppelin like concert DVD.
And then of course Jimmy Page is the old man.
Right.
Like at the top of the staircase, you know.
Yeah. I remember seeing that, and I think it was everything. I don't think it was just the music, but it was the visual. Like as a 16-year-old, yeah.
That's what we were after. We were all about smoking weed and then watching. What was it? Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon
with Wizard of Oz.
Do you remember the time? Like what? There's like a certain time within the album that you should start.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I watched a YouTube video or something that was already lined up.
Yeah. I did that too, to be honest. I
didn't have the record.
Yeah.
Or else I would have pressed play with the record. It would have been way more real. But
could you imagine being the guy that discovered that worked so well together? Like the first guy to do that, how blown his mind must have been in front of the screen.
I mean, you would have to be on psychedelics to figure that out.
Yeah. I feel like he probably...
To try that or to think that to do that.
This is what I think actually happened. He's on psychedelics. This movie was just looping in the background, like just playing over and over and over again. And he was just listening to all these records, and it just happened to be the Pink Floyd record, like, lined up with it.
Probably. Yeah. There's a great chance that could exactly be...
Be what happened, right.
I mean, there's enough people for that to be statistically correct, you know?
Totally. Who knows?
So going back here, when did you say the aha moment was for you that, like, you're like... Music is awesome.
Probably at 16. I would say at 16. Just watching that Zeppelin DVD, and like I remember going out and buying an Epiphone Les Paul like immediately. Like the very first scene of Jimmy Page, like camera's kind of looking up at him from, you know, the bottom of the stage, like looking up, and he's like hitting those guitar solos. He's got strung real low and everything. And then I was like, okay. And like I started learning more and more about him and stuff, and went out and bought a Les Paul and just played in my bedroom for a long time. I didn't really start any bands early on, but yeah, I noticed as like a very novice guitar player and not really paying attention to any of the lessons that I had in middle school, like I really couldn't play any of that Zeppelin stuff. Like as hard as I tried, like I just couldn't get my head wrapped around it. And it really bummed me out. And like for a long time, I was like, I want to do this, but I was like, I don't think I can ever do this. Like I'm listening to Jimi Hendrix, I'm listening to Van Halen, I'm listening to Led Zeppelin, and I'm like, shit, I'll never be able to do what they're doing here. Like I'm telling myself that. And then I Fell in Love with a Girl by the White Stripes. And I was like, that's it. Like if you can play guitar like that and like make a band and be rock stars, like I can do that. Like, and from the White Stripes, it kind of went to the Stooges, and then it went to the Ramones, and then I just kept going back. And like I got into like the punk thing. Iggy, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I realized, shit, there's something out there for, you know, people that are just starting. Like I can do this. And it just kind of went from there. I don't know. But yeah, that was all around 16, 17 years old for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was your exploring of the guitar.
Yeah.
But did you sing then, or did you?
Guitar was really first. I never really had any aspiration to sing or do anything like that, like at first.
When did singing come?
Probably when I was like 20 or so. I was in a band when I was like 20 called White Knight. And White Knight. And like we had a lead singer, but I took some of the vocals too. Like, and then White Knight became Stockholm, And we kind of went from there. We didn't really do anything at all. We played in a lot of garages and bars where everybody wanted to hear like ZZ Top and like country music and stuff like that. And, yeah.
And this was back in your hometown?
This was, yeah, in that same area. So like Carbondale is like the biggest place. It's like the centrally located place because of the college. Like there's a lot of people from Chicago and like all over the world that go to like SIU there, which is the big college. So like all the culture is kind of there, but there's all these little pockets around where you can like make money playing and doing covers and stuff like that. And I think White Knight / Stockholm.
How big was this? A big city?
Carbondale, when I was living there was about 125,000 people. There's probably more there now.
Right.
You know, it was... I actually lived in a really small town called Hearst, not far from Carbondale. There was like 800 people there. And like, so Carbondale was like 5 minutes away. And it was so weird, like Hearst was so small it didn't have a school. So like, I had to go to Heron High School, which was the opposite direction of Carbondale. Like we sat just far enough away from Carbondale and just close enough to Heron to like where we went to the Heron School District. So yeah, it was kind of strange living in, you know, the southern Midwest. Southern Illinois was a strange place.
Yeah. Some of my favorite bands are from the Midwest. And I think there's a certain kind of energy that comes from the Midwest that I haven't experienced coming across anyone else.
There's not a lot to do there. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I had this angst.
Yeah.
I had this energy to like get shit done because they're like, we've dealt with the fucking cold.
Right.
We've dealt with the like, you can't do shit
yeah.
all the time. Like,
all you want to do is leave. So if you start a band in the Midwest, that's your drive. It's like, let's play enough music to where we can make enough money and we can get out of here. Like that's what every band from the Midwest will tell you. Like, it's crazy. Like, the guys that stay, you know, they do okay, but, you know, they never really, you can't really do much more with it there.
You just play the beer circuit.
You're just playing the beer circuit,
whatever venue. That's
a good way to say it. Like, that's basically what it is. You're playing a lot of house shows. And yeah. And Carbondale was really cool because there was so much art and culture and just diversity there because of the college. So you saw a lot of different things and you met a lot of different people from all walks of life. And like they brought their own cultures and, you know...
But it'd come and leave.
But they'd come and go.
It wasn't there to last.
Yeah, they'd come and go, exactly.
It's the thing with college, some really amazing stuff would come through.
Yeah.
But it's going to leave just as fast.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, unless they stay, whatever. How long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville 12 years now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What brought you here?
Really just going to audio engineering school. So I went to the School of Audio Engineering, which is SAE. It's over by Music Row. And that's where I met Jake, our drummer. He's from Indiana. And yeah, that's kind of what brought me here. I lived in St. Louis 2 years prior, like before that, and that was it.
What would you say is something you've learned living here?
That is not that easy. It takes a lot of work. You know, when I came here, I was young. I was very naive. You get here and you realize there's, you know, a lot of people trying to do the same thing. You know, you have to be at your best in Nashville all the time. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is like, you know, it's going to take time. Like, you're not going to be able to do it overnight. You got to be in it for the long haul and you've got to truly believe in it or, you know, it's not going to work out. Like, because there's a million other people trying to do the same thing. Everybody's chomping at the bit. Everybody's hungry. Like, you've got to always have that hunger or, you know.
You get left behind.
You're going to get left behind. Totally. You know, and that's a big difference from, you know, feeling down and being like, you know, I don't, kind of backing off from time to time. I think there's a big difference between that and, you know, just having that hunger. But yeah, I think you just kind of always have to have that drive here. And I did not know that when I came here. Like, my original idea was like, oh, well, I want to learn the audio side of this, like the engineering side and the technical side. Like, I want to be able to record my own music or, you know, if I go into a studio, kind of know what I'm doing. Like, so I just wanted to learn all aspects of the business. And yeah, just coming down here very, very naive and being like, I'm going to open my own label within the first year. You know, like, and then immediately being like, okay, so this is how it is. Just kind of putting my nose to the ground and going for it, you know?
It's like no matter what end of the spectrum you are on that.
Yeah.
If you're going to open your own label, even if you are super wealthy, it's like then you have to get people compelled to use your studio.
Well, exactly.
Or your label.
Yeah.
And if that isn't the case, then the cards are even set against you even harder. Because
totally.
You have to convince people to even go there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an ambitious goal, to say the least. Like,
Because everyone wants to do things on their own nowadays. Everyone wants to say, I did this.
Yeah.
I built this. Like,
That's what drew me to Nashville, though.
a lot of people want to become a Kevin Parker of Tame Impala.
Sure.
Which I understand. It's amazing.
It's amazing,
This guy can do it all.
Right.
He shows you not the limit. He shows you what you can do. What you can do is even beyond that. It is remarkable.
It is. A lot of that's kind of what drew me here too, because it seems like everybody's like that here. Everybody's just got this entrepreneurial spirit. You know, they want to create. They want to do things. It's very DIY here. Like,
It is.
even down to our restaurants and bars and like all the different things that are here. Like, I just feel like, everything was put together by an individual, not a company, not like, something that's contrived. Like, it just, yeah.
There's so much niche things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our market for people is very open to more niche stuff. So like the best is yet to come. We haven't even for East Nashville, God only knows.
Totally.
We have a lot of unlocked potential for East Nashville.
Yeah, it's very true. I thought about that during the pandemic and all that. Like, when we were all quarantined, the first thing I thought was like, man, how many bands are going to come out of this? Like, how many great songs are going to be written with all these artists and all these people just in Nashville alone, that they're locked in their houses, like, to their own devices. Like, and yeah, sure enough, a shit ton of bands came out of it, and like, there's so many new bands that have just popped up.
A shit ton didn't come out of it.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't. A lot of the older bands didn't. Yeah. They didn't make it,
I think we'll be able to get a better scope and view of that in 10 years from now.
I think so too.
So we'll be obviously it's hard for us to understand the influence of the music industry right now.
Right.
Who's it's impacting the most. You know?
Right.
You can kind of get ahead on those things, but you don't really get that kind of viewpoint until 10 years later.
That's true. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We're kind of in the now right now.
True.
All right, cool. What is some advice you'd give to someone moving to Nashville, or who's going to move to Nashville to pursue art or music?
Oh God, man, I don't even know.
Maybe think of it if you give yourself advice back in the day.
Just be prepared for what to expect. If you feel like you're the best there is when you move here, you need to go back down to the bottom of the hill and just realize, you've moved to a pond full of, really big fish. Really big fish. That's why everybody's drawn here. So, it's good to have that confidence, but don't come here expecting to just take everything over, because that's just not how it is. You're in it for the long haul if you're moving to Nashville.
It's not reality.
It's not reality, right?
They call this the 7-year city, which...
Yeah. That's true, yeah, I think so.
Means you'll find your place, or it takes 7 years to kind of get your footing.
Okay.
As far as how you're going to kind of command your own market.
Yeah. Huh, I didn't know that. I didn't know they called it that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's encouraging.
It is encouraging, right?
You got some time.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude. All right. I've got another question. What is something absurd you love?
Something absurd that I love.
Yes. It could be something that you do, or a thing.
Man, I'm really having to think on that one. I don't know.
Don't worry. Keep thinking. I'll edit, all this. I'm going to go use the restroom. Keep thinking.
Okay, I'm going to think that over. I really don't know. Something absurd?
What came to mind for me is the show Love Island. It's pretty absurd.
That's pretty absurd.
Yeah, reality TV in general.
Something absurd.
Hayes has recently, he said he's having a standing on furniture phase.
Standing on furniture phase.
He said if you're ever stressed out, try standing on your bed. And I did stand on my bed, and it was I don't know. I wasn't stressful, so I can't really speak to that. But
right.
It was wow, okay, interesting. This is a nice feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God, of all questions, that's the one that puts me on the spot.
Yeah.
Don't know.
What?
I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't know.
What do you have any like rituals for getting yourself ready for shows?
No, I'm pretty normal.
honestly admire
Like,
how much you just just go when the time comes.
yeah, like I don't really have a ritual at all. Like, I get dressed, and I guess I kind of think about it a little bit, but like there's not really anything in particular going through my head. Like I just kind of go do it, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, if I think of something, can we come back to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can give you an example of something I do that's
Okay.
absurd.
Yeah.
Or that I have done that's absurd.
All right.
Well, here's one thing that's absurd.
I mean, walking through the drains is a little absurd.
What?
Walking through the drains is a little absurd. I get it. Like it sounds fun.
That's actually more recent than something I was about to say. So yeah, that's probably way more absurd than what I was about to
But
say.
wait, what was it gonna be though?
So like when I was like from the ages of like 4 or 5 until like 12, I didn't like sleeping in beds, so I slept on the floor.
Okay. Yeah. I've known some people that have done that before.
So I never slept on the floor.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, and I don't know why I did this, but I used to do this, and sometimes I still do. But I would bang my head against my pillow
Yeah.
to go to sleep. So I would like until
And
like,
it worked?
until I would go to sleep,
And it would work?
Wow.
and that would be relaxing to me.
Okay.
That was relaxing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But I thought that was relaxing, and that was like how I thought about the day. Like when I got to middle school,
Yeah.
I would start playing music, and then I would bang my head to the music.
Okay.
Before that, it would all be music that I had heard, and I would just be, thinking in my head about whatever, but banging my head to some song that I had heard.
All right. Yeah.
Against something or just rocking?
No, I mean like say this is a pillow.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I would be like
Right.
on the
Okay.
pillow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I would do that for like 30 minutes to an hour,
Okay.
maybe 2 hours, and then I would go to sleep.
Nice. I don't know.
That's pretty absurd. I don't know anyone that beats their face against a pillow.
To go to bed.
To go to bed.
Yeah.
Like and it was relaxing to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was relaxing. People would be like, Jordan, what in the fuck?
What are you doing?
And I'd be like,
Don't worry about it.
Trying to go to sleep. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
And one of my good friends, Bo, and God bless his precious heart, wherever he be, Jordan, I don't mind if you banged your head. Because I had a bunk bed, and he would sleep on the top bunk when he would come to my house.
Yeah.
And I'd be on the bottom bunk, and I would
Just banging your head.
do my thing before I go to sleep, and he'd be like, I don't mind it, Jordan.
Good guy. That's a true friend, right?
And I was like, God bless you, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are two absurd things.
Mhm.
I have many more absurd things, but those are two.
Man. I can't think.
Doesn't have to be anything like super absurd to me or to you,
Yeah.
but something that you think you do that no one else does.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking.
It'll come to you.
I have to come to me.
No worries.
I'm totally blanking on it.
Alright, we'll get back to you, dude. Alright, Huxley. Rittman, right?
Yes.
Alright, you're up now. So, where are you from?
I grew up in Singapore.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I was born in the States, in suburby town, near Westchester, New York, outside the city, and then my family moved to Singapore when I was 1. And then we had a little random year where my parents missed the States when I was 4, but then missed Singapore, so we went back when I was 5. So pretty much lived in Singapore from age 1 till I started college.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, I've only heard stories about Singapore. I've heard the streets are extremely clean.
Yes. True.
I've heard everything is extremely clean. And I've heard if you dare spit gum on the ground, you will be beaten with a stick.
Yeah, I mean, I can't confirm, that is not unheard of for Singapore laws. I'm not up to date and haven't checked
You've never
recently.
been beaten.
No, I have not personally been beaten, but I had friends who went to the local schools. This would never have flown in my cushy little international school I went to, but my friends that went to the local schools, they would it would be like they would get like lashings at the assembly.
Oh God! What?
Yeah, right.
In front of all.
Yeah, I'm forgetting like what they had done to warrant that punishment, but like it was totally common. And yeah, I don't know exactly what the rules would be for gum and punishment, but like generally, like what do they call it? Capital punishment? Is that what it's called? Or corporal punishment?
Capital punishment is when they kill you.
Yeah, well, they do that too. Yeah. But yeah, there are definitely intense like fines / punishments for things that we might consider like not that big a deal. So, but you know, the streets are super clean.
No, yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, no, like it was interesting. If you're flying into Singapore, you fill out your little customs form, and at the bottom in like very bold print for you to notice, it says like death for drug traffickers.
Wow.
And this is another thing. Like I would hope that
you can't smoke weed there.
No. Yeah, and I really gotta check up on the laws because I really would hope that they've loosened up a little bit. I can't imagine much, but like the prime minister that kind of like whipped Singapore into shape, he died like 5 to 10 years ago. It was after I'd already left, and so it was interesting to watch from afar because what I could tell is it just seemed like my more like artistically inclined friends seemed their voices were a lot louder. Like after he died, people were kind of talking a little bit of shit. Like there was this whole story about this kid who got like imprisoned and then even sent to a mental hospital because he just made a honestly like a pretty eloquent, you know, or for a 15-year-old at least, like YouTube video saying like, yeah, fuck him, like goodbye. Like we can have fun now. And like the guy who like just taught me like drums and guitar, he would talk about like, you know, with a tear in his eye, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll days of Singapore, like before Lee Kuan Yew kind of, you know, did his thing. But anyway, going back, I'm wondering if maybe since he died, the laws have gotten a little less intense as far as weed. But I know that like when I was doing that research in high school, yeah, it was like 500 grams. Possession is enough. That's the where they kill you.
Wow.
Yeah.
500 grams.
Yeah, that's a lot to have, but like it's just weed.
That's only like less than 2 pounds.
Yeah. They execute you. And I forget again. Like I wish I had like a really like I wish I had a fact checked knowledge to spit out right now because I don't know like when they did this or if they've stopped. But like I know I was looking at like methods they'd use for execution in Singapore, and one of them was elephant.
Execution stomps you to death, or
I guess yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I imagine that one has. They've probably stopped using that one, but like honestly, I feel like maybe that's one of the more humane ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it steps on your fucking sternum, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. But right, so like definitely, you know, I didn't do much pot smoking and Pink Floyding in high school, but what was interesting is like as intense as they were with that, it was very easy to be young and get a drink in Singapore. So like my friends and I were like bar hopping and like even going to like clubs that I wouldn't really find myself going to even now in Nashville, like we were going to in high school. Which is kind of lame for the adults, honestly. Like you go into a club in Singapore and you'll see like kids with braces and shit. It's crazy. Like my fake ID, I wish I had it on me right now, was so hilariously bad. Like it was like a UK residence permit.
How old did you have to be to drink that?
18. And like you really only needed the card to get in places. Like I could still go. Like I could get around even like once I had a baby face. Like but like. Come like high school, I pretty much never had a problem like just getting a drink at a bar or from like a store, but like to get it into like clubs, you'd still have to show an ID. So we all had just like very like not great but acceptable IDs.
Wow.
Yeah, from this one little stand in this one little mall. Yeah.
And then you went to college in the States?
Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Berkeley in Boston for a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For guitar?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, Berkeley was awesome, but I took a gap year in the middle and spent much of it in Nashville, and like really just on like a personal level and as far as my music went, like was feeling like I was swimming with the current much more here than in Boston, and like when I went back to Boston, it just felt even more like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like
foreign.
Yeah, and like I still go. I kind of wish I would have maybe just finished college, but like at the same time, I was a songwriting major, which is not something, not having that degree hasn't really held me back thus far. Like, you know, it felt like the right thing to do to just go ahead and like get my life going in Nashville instead.
So you weren't like a guitar major at Berkeley?
I mean, like, you have to have a principal instrument, so I did my audition on guitar and, like, was, you know, I'm there, like, you know, Huxley, Rittman, guitar, but, like, I was a songwriting major as opposed to, like, a guitar performance major
so
or a production major.
You weren't focusing solely on, like, becoming, like...
No, yeah, like, but it's nice, like, regardless of your principal instrument, like, everybody has to go through a certain number of, like, certain number of semesters of, like, private instruction and, like, you know, your instrument-based classes and stuff, and then like for a songwriting major, I think that fizzles out kind of sooner along the course. But like for a performance major, you're doing those classes all throughout your degree and stuff. Yeah, but I ended up like I'm kind of glad that I didn't finish because like with the way I was taking classes, I might have had to like tack on an extra semester or two because I was kind of just like doing what I wanted. Like, you know, I sort of was being sort of mindful of like, okay, I need to tick off these boxes here and there, but like, shit, that ensemble looks like it would be really fun to join that one too. Like, so I ended up doing a lot more like playing there. Yeah. I joined a bluegrass ensemble for a semester. I joined a I played drums in like a little surf rock group ensemble. My friend asked me to, he did this for credit, like he started a suicidal tendencies ensemble and asked me to front it, which was the first time I'd ever like sang without a guitar or anything. So like that was a really cool experience. But as a result of all that, I think my academic advisor would have probably been like, yo, like take the classes you need to take. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Berkeley, it was a really cool place to be. I miss Berkeley, but I now I'm starting to miss Boston here and there, but like not for any.
How long were you there for?
Like 2.5-ish years, yeah. Close enough to where, like, wow.
You got the feel for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, fun.
It's always Berkeley, you always... Like, you went to Berkeley, oh shit.
Hey, I will say that, I mean, I appreciate that for sure, and I don't want to, like, talk shit on Berkeley, but, like, you can definitely suck and still get to Berkeley. Yeah.
I've heard that too, but I've always like...
Yeah. I mean, but it shows too. Like those people tend not to last more than a year, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who might like show up kind of like expecting a more normal college experience, but knowing that like their strong suit is maybe music at the time, and like they show up and are just like, what? No, thank you. Like it's pretty common for like after freshman year to like maybe transfer to BU instead or something.
So when you were younger, what were you into? Like what were you like as a kid?
I was gonna say stupid. I want to say something nicer though.
We were all pretty stupid.
Yeah, we're all pretty stupid.
But no, I mean like I like to like just run around and do dumb shit. Like just you know, my friends and I like let's ride down the slide at the playground on our skateboards. Let's go like jump in the turtle pond and catch the turtle. Just dumb shit. Yeah, like I really like Jackass and skateboarding.
This was back in
Singapore.
Yeah.
I definitely like. I liked music for sure early on, and picked up instruments like starting. Well, first it was piano lessons at age 6. But then I picked up guitar when I was 8 and pretty much just was into that for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I like just like skating, running around, dumb stuff, SpongeBob. You know.
Jackass.
Yeah, like right. Like I had this friend who like, I'm thinking back to a sleepover we had where it was like, let's get into sleeping bags head first and then go down the stairs in them. Like, it was pretty fun. Like you just sort of slide down. It's
yeah. Faces in the head.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But you know, but like I like to think that we were. It was always wholesome. Like we weren't like I wasn't like messing with anybody. Like we weren't causing like havoc. Like. Not like
you weren't a little hellion.
Exactly right. Like I wanted to have fun in as wacky a way as possible, but like there was this little shit in the apartment complex who was like, "Let's grab globs of mud and go throw it into the convenience store." And I was like, "That's like,
yeah, hold on, dude.
Like, they're so nice at the convenience store. Like they give us free shit there. Like no,
it's like whoa.
Yeah. So I think I was just barely a good boy.
Wow. So, like, when was the aha moment for you to, like, get into music?
I mean, the earliest memory I have of, like, oh, this is cool is, like, I must have been only, like 4 or 5 or something, and my dad, he, like, has instruments. He's never, like, played all that seriously, but, like, he plays a little bass and stuff, and he just whipped out the bass once and like strapped it onto me, and I was just like, whoa! Like, and I thought that I was playing "Baby Did a Bad Bad Thing" by Chris Isaac. I think I was just like thumping on notes, but I was just like, I'm rocking. Yeah, that felt cool. And then when you said Zeppelin, that popped into my mind. And I hate to say, like, I never listen to Led Zeppelin anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost sick of it, but but it was Black Dog that was like, holy cow.
Right.
Like,
All right.
Plus 4.
Oh yeah. But just like that was like the heaviest thing to me. I was like that was, and I don't like, not that this is incorrect, but like when I thought heavy metal, I was like, Black Dog, that's the heaviest shit there is in this world.
Yeah.
And that was fun. Yeah, and like, this, my mom, like, she got an iPod mini but wanted a smaller one so that she could like strap to her arm and run with it. Right. So she gave me her pink iPod mini, which I was thrilled to have. Wow. And I had I would just like put on the headphones and just like be doing concerts in my room and stuff. Like, I remember Crying by Aerosmith was one of my favorite bedroom concert songs. But yeah, it was a series of aha moments pretty early.
So you're like envisioning yourself as a singer in a lot of those bedroom moments.
Like any of the above. Like, I thought it was all really cool. Like, I would be, I would also
performance aspect.
Yeah. Like, my mom had to tell me to stop like messing. Like, I think that's when we eventually got a drum set. Is when like she saw that I kept like just beating the shit out of the couch pillows and stuff. And, so it all seemed really fun. Like, I feel very lucky that like it was pretty much just immediate. Like, okay, this is what I want to do, and like haven't lost interest since. It's just
Oh yeah. So do you have any siblings?
Yeah, an older sister.
What is she like?
She's awesome. I'm also very grateful to have had her.
How much older is she than
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. She, I say this with the utmost respect, is like hippie nerd, basically. Like,
cool.
Like, she went to a really impressive liberal arts college and like similarly just chose classes that she wanted to take, which ended up falling into a religion and anthropology major.
What's her name?
Sadie. And she went, like, for her thesis, she got a grant from her school to study to go to Iceland, because she learned that like most Icelandic people either like believe fully in like elves and fairies and interdimensional hidden creatures, or at least like are too like they wouldn't like denounce it. Like it's taken very seriously there. It's part of the culture. Like construction projects need to consult like elf related authorities. Like, is this can we build here, or will it upset the elves? Like, so like she was fascinated by that, studied that, and like has kind of just like in the years since college like continued that study. Like, what I'm expecting for her, and if she's listening, I don't know how she's gonna feel about this, but I think it would be cool, Sadie. Like, you know when you watch a documentary about like some niche subject and there's just like somebody who keeps reoccurring and they're like the ultimate authority on, like, I expect like she might just be the elf authority on. So right. Like she's just furthering her studies. But like it's the most woo woo shit. Like sometimes, like sometimes I like will dumb down the explanation because I can sense that I'm talking to somebody. Like, because I've told people about this and they're like, what the fuck is she doing? Like, and so like, you know,
the accent.
Right.
What the fuck?
Bro, what? Elves aren't real. Yeah, but I think it's cool.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Mythology.
Yeah, I mean, she just had like research like presented. I forget what the function was, but like it was this on a stage. Somebody was like presenting her research.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of her ideas of like someone evil or someone mischievous or someone, you know, conniving comes from a lot of Disney shit.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of mythology as like, you know, the Romans and the Greeks. They have their mythology.
Yeah.
Like, we study that stuff. Now we have ours.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, like Walt Disney's definitely affected a lot of Americans as far as their like idea of morality or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not saying is bad or good or bad. I'm just saying it's the way it is.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about how I saw you were born in '92, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might have also been in on this. And I'll say first that like Dan Schneider, you know, news has come out that he's not a great guy, like, you know. Yeah. So, but with that said, Dan Schneider, he did all of like the Amanda Show. I think he did all that, but maybe not. Like I think he did Keenan and Kel. Definitely did like did I already say Drake and Josh? But like all those kind of wacky Nickelodeon humor shows. And yeah, like we're talking about how that like. That really kind of was a weird brand of humor that kind of influenced us all. Like,
oh my god,
right.
Yeah. You don't see that shit.
No.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's a shell of what it used to be.
Dude,
like
I don't even know.
It was like so dark and like so conceptive and like there were a lot of things that you could take from it. Which
some of
like
those cartoons got like...
Which was like good and bad because it was like, this is some dark shit.
Yeah.
But the good thing is like exposed us to somewhat reality, and it was like, now everything is like so downplayed.
Yeah.
Or it seems. I don't know. I haven't watched.
I think it is.
I think if I had children, I would be able to like determine that or know that.
It's different for sure. Like I
mean, how do you feel about like the media that is now... like would be, you know, for Crosby.
So my son's 2.
Yeah, what's your son's name?
My son's name is Crosby Milo. Yeah, he's going to be 2 years old at the end of October 30th. Yeah, he's a great little dude.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's very interesting being a dad, and yeah, it's an amazing thing. It really is. Like, there's a whole other part of my life, you know?
Yeah. I'm curious that, like, do you feel like the pressure to like give him a screen to look at and stuff? Because it just seems so just now like just a given that like a kid knows how to use an iPad, that the kid's got like his own.
I actually had this exact same conversation with somebody else the other day, and they asked me the exact same question, and I was kind of like, you know, no, we're not really like that as parents. My wife and I both, like, we watch TV and stuff like that, and you know, he's got his shows that he likes to watch, but as far as the iPad thing, no, we don't really want to expose them to that yet. Like,
I think, I mean, I hope it doesn't,
give them some
like...
tools, get them out in the backyard, toys, exactly. That's the thing.
Get them, like, because I was fucking obsessed with action figures.
Exactly. Yeah. Same.
And I would play with them on my rock out in my front yard.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, you get to create your own little world.
Your own thing. That's so fulfilling, too, and it's something that's so necessary for, like, creativity and just... I think being a more well-rounded human being, like, I know so many parents, we know a lot of young parents that are our age, and you see it all the time, like, their kid will get fussy, which usually means they're bored, or, you know, they need something to occupy their time to stimulate themselves, and they just hand them, like, their phone and, like, put a game on there, and then they're just like this for hours, and it's just
like giving them like a painkiller.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, like...
I don't want to sound like all like, you know, conspiracy theorist here, but we're sort of, I feel like we're developing a new like breed of human, honestly, like a new species. Like,
we are.
Like I in working,
they're more standoffish.
But no, but like they also have different like working. I've worked food service for years now, and like I'll like walk up to take a family's order, and the kids like it's kind of scary. Like I'll get through most of them, and then like say the fourth one is the kid, and he's just sitting there looking at the screen, and like the kid straight up didn't even register that like there was somebody there to take their order. Like the parents have to be like, come on, Skylar, come on, buddy, what do you want? Like, and the kid's like, burger, and like that, like it's freaky, like, and that's so strange. Like I hope Crosby doesn't end up like getting made fun of. I hope he's not the weird kid, but I think you're doing the right.
I think it's just, you know, it's a lot of hard work, because I don't want to use the word lazy, but like I sometimes feel like, you know, when you just give your kids something to pacify them, like, you know, your phone or something like that, you're kind of opting out of like, you know, engaging your child, because that's all that they really want, right? They just want that engagement.
Because like, why is going to be the biggest question they ask for 5 or 6 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why? Why?
I'm also just a little bit like frightened that they're that young and have that much information at their fingertips.
It's too much information.
Exactly. Yeah, and how do you go about?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that like
Adults
the internet
have-
was a little dumbed down. Like,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
weren't quite as many websites. Like, I'm not that old, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you couldn't.
it was
like,
it was a safer. It was hard to like I didn't know how to just go and look at really dark, crazy,
Right.
wacky shit that I
now
shouldn't have been
you
seeing.
can do
as
that
a-
on YouTube now.
Yeah,
Yeah, right,
absolutely. The YouTube videos, I go down those rabbit holes all the time. I don't know if it's absurd, but like
I mean, some of them are like, "What is your age?" Which is,
Yeah.
I think, good. But
oh yeah, totally. But it's easy because I mean you can literally write anything in there. Like I tested it. I was like, okay, 1948, and like it's like okay, right,
Yeah.
just straight into it. Like,
all right, hell yeah. Like, what inspires you now?
musically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I have been interested in redirecting my focus from like, because I kind of, upon moving to Nashville, just really leaned into just like being like fast and loud and brash and like just kind of like energy guitar, like we were talking about, like the fell in love with the girl type of guitar.
yeah.
You know, that's that type of stuff. And like, if anything, like I've been wanting to like soften up a little bit, you know, like
When did you move to Nashville?
2018. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
And what was your vision when you moved here?
Let's do it, baby. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just been like, you know, like I moved down, like, you know, I have a project of my own, but was very, like, just wanted to be doing
Project
as
of
much.
your own?
Huh? Yeah, like a band, yeah.
From where?
We, like, it started in Boston.
And then you brought it down here?
Yeah. But have just been, like, kind of wanting to just do whatever I believe in musically.
From Boston, what were the inspirations that you brought from Boston?
Well, I will say what Boston did for me was, Boston pushed me for sure, because what's really, like, Boston has a bustling scene, like, definitely, like, for the more, like, it's sort of a college-y scene, like, it's very experimental, very, like I was in, I was just writing, like, rock music, pretty much, and we never, like, it was clear that, like, we were never, like, really, like, hitting that hard in Boston. Like, people just kind of seemed like, yeah, whatever. But, like, what would really work there, like, there were a lot of noise shows and stuff, and, like doom bands that were, like, really doing well. And, like, I played guitar in this other band that was more, like I think they are now calling themselves, like, art rock. And, like, that band did really well. Shout out Edge Pedal Burn. But, it was cool. Like, Boston pushed me to, like, I don't know, be interesting, like have something to say, I guess, you know.
What do you think coming to Boston or doing what you did in Boston brought to you that you wouldn't have had not going to Boston?
I mean, got a lot of experience gigging, I will say. Like, it definitely was like it was like gigging boot camp, kind of, because I did a lot of guitar playing in like a number of bands, and it was kind of like the ugly version too. There was no glamour to it. Like, we were practicing where we could. Shows were like it was like a lot of house shows, and housing is expensive in Boston, so nobody had a nice place. So like it was shithole basements that we were playing in, like rats running around and stuff. Just, you know, late nights, and nobody had a car because having a car in Boston is kind of stressful. So like just it was always just like, yeah, a lot of like late nights and carrying shit really far and
DIY.
Yeah, just living on coffee and stuff. And yeah, it was, but you know, I say this with a tear in my eye. It was fun.
What was your favorite part of that?
Well, so like sometimes this is fun and sometimes it's the worst thing in the world, but like when you have like a really late night rehearsal, but like everybody's kind of there for it, like the delirious, like, fuck it, wow, this is what we do for music type rehearsals. Like, there's not, like, yeah, when you really, like, I guess the moments where you prove to yourself, like, okay, yeah, I do this because I love it, like, that kind of thing. Like, you know, when we're crammed into a 5x5 room, you know, like, just, playing, like, recording on one microphone.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could never speak to that. I've never lived in a situation that you would live in a small confined area.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody has space in Boston. Like it was, if you had a basement, you were lucky. Like fortunately, this one, like when I was enrolled at Berkeley, I had access to those spaces, but they were just like, you had to just be really on top of booking them because everyone wanted them. But then, like the other band I was in, fortunately, the drummer, he was a little older and had a decent paying job and rented with somebody else, like a room at like a Diamond Sound type of place, just a lockout rehearsal space. But gosh, like I mean, if you compare that to Diamond Sound, it was just like dusty and stinky.
Dude, I love Diamond Sound.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, Diamond Sound feels lush.
It's bougie. It's very luxurious for.
I've never been in one of the like crazy rooms.
Yeah. I haven't either.
But the times I have rehearsed and it's been enough. I mean,
yeah.
Your own little sound canceling room.
Right, and you can go there anytime.
Test everything out.
Right.
Well, what is something that you've learned living here?
Honestly, like to enjoy it, to like have fun with music a little more. Like I don't know. Like I just found that like the more that I like just kind of go to shows because I want to go to them and just like have a good time and talk to people, the better things go. That, like I guess yeah. Like that like it's almost more worthwhile to just like go out to a show than it is to like spend like hunch over your laptop and like tweak your website and shit. Like that's imperative as well, but like I kind of like I was a lot more introverted when I came, or that's not the right word for it, but like just less willing to go out and like be out of my comfort zone when I first got to Nashville, and only got positive feedback from like just putting myself out there and like going to their shows and then tapping them on the shoulder afterwards, like, hey, if you need a guitarist, let me know. Like,
that's a true story. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Let's talk about that. Go to their shows. Like, you went to a Dirty Delusions show, and
yeah. Well, so one of the first times that, like, when I was like just giving Nashville a try, it was just me. But then, like, my band from Boston, they flew down because we got this show at the Basement. It was a New Faces night that we ended up playing with the Delusions. And admittedly, like, we played and then went out and smoked weed and stuff and then came back in, but like it was kind of high and the Delusions were on stage and I was like, what the fuck? Like it was like a definitely a where have they been kind of moment. Yeah. And like, so we chatted a little bit afterwards, and then when I moved back for real, I was like remembering like, okay, they're a cool band and they were nice guys, so like I talked to they were kind of like the first people I hit up for like, hey, how do I let's do a show and stuff. But like I kept thoroughly enjoying their sets and like noticing like y'all I could see it, I could feel some space here. If you would have me, I would love to play this music. So I just kind of, I forget how many times it was, but like it got to where I was like, okay, maybe I should stop. Like maybe I'm getting annoying at this point.
It was only like two or three times.
Yeah.
I remember because I remember specifically there was a house show we played at Dustin from the Reveal's old place, like in the basement. Dustin. Yeah. So we played a show with his band and the band Brother Man, and it was us.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was the Delusions. I remember you came and your mom, Fran, came, and like you guys stood right up at the front. And that's the first time I remember you like really asking.
Yeah. Like
talking about background harmonies and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was that one, and then I can't remember the other time. But yeah, like he planted the seed. Like it was a thought. Like in my mind specifically, I was like, oh man, he's the first guy. He's the first guy I'm calling. Cool. But yeah, I remember when we first saw Huxley the Hitman, I was like, holy shit, these guys are really cool. Too bad they're from Boston. Like maybe when we're out there we could hit them up.
Was it called Huxley and the Hitman?
Huxley and the Hitman.
At the time, it was started. I mean, so like. Once I put out an EP.
Wait, what?
Well, it was
called the Hitman?
Huxley Rittman and the Rusty Hitman, and then it was shortened to Hux and the Hitman. Yeah. And then now it's Crocodile. Well, I mean that's the end of that story. Like, and eventually I got a message saying like, hey, we've been thinking about adding another guitarist. And I was like, hey, all right.
We had coffee. We had a rehearsal. We made the decision, and then COVID happened. And
which enabled us to like spend so much time rehearsing. We were so ready to play when the time came.
we spent like a year rehearsing, and we like made 2 music videos and did like all this other stuff that didn't involve playing shows.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and then when we played our first show back, it was like, Jesus.
Man. I mean, dude, y'all look phenomenal. I mean, y'all look like y'all could take over Europe, you know.
Oh, man.
I look at you all and I'm like, man, these guys have done potential.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. That's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go to Europe.
Let's go to Europe. Hell yeah. Well, it feels good.
So.
You know, it's really fun. Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea. You know.
I mean, I'm just saying, both y'all are very chill, very easygoing. You speak your mind. You're like, you're very matter of fact with how you feel about things.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, you know, I feel like you kind of almost have to be that way. You just need to be who you are. Like that's how the art's going to be the most honest, you know.
At this point,
regardless,
I just like get kind of mad at this point if I'm watching a show and I feel like I'm just like being kind of bullshitted too.
Yeah, totally. You can feel it.
There are enough shows happening for me to not want to waste my time watching somebody like put on a show of a show.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Smoke a little bit.
Fire up another. Sure.
And chill a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back. Dude, I really enjoyed hanging out.
Yeah, dude, this is great. Yeah, man, it's good just kind of having